Hi, my name is Nicole Rios, and this is a video for parents-to-be, and it's just here to give any information that you don't already know and to help you in any way possible during your pregnancy. First thing I'd like to do is congratulate you on becoming a parent or parent-to-be, and I hope you're excited. Okay. First thing I'd like to tell you is that no matter what anybody says or tell you, that it's very necessary that you go visit a doctor, because so many things happen in the first few weeks of pregnancy. It's just better to be safe than sorry and go to the doctors and make sure everything that's going on in your body during your pregnancy goes well. And another thing that doctors will help you with too is they make sure you get all the vitamins you need, because when you're eating and your body's digesting the food and getting the nutrition from your food into your body to make energy and everything, a lot of that energy isn't going just to your body now because you have another human being growing inside of you. All those vitamins and everything are going to your baby and they're not going to you. So in some circumstances, if you don't go to the doctors and get some certain vitamins, you could become malnourished and get sick, and that's never good for mom. So I highly recommend going to a doctor, and if you don't have health insurance, you could always go to a free clinic or a Medicare office local to you, and they'll help you set up a payment plan that's affordable for you, and they'll make sure you can get the medical aid that you need because it is necessary. And when you're also at the doctors, they're probably going to tell you to avoid a lot of things like uncooked meat, fish with high levels of mercury, and obviously smoking and drinking. And they tell you these things because they're called teratogens, and they could cause harm for your baby and cause problems with their development, and nobody wants that for their baby. So it's for your best interest to listen to your doctor and avoid all those teratogens at any. There's no point of taking the risk of having your baby get ill. Another thing I'd like to address too is a lot of people don't think this is a teratogen, is stress. Because if you become stressed and you're stressing out so much during your pregnancy, your baby could develop a high level of stress, and when they come out and you deliver the baby and the child grows up, they'll be more inclined to stress and they'll have a hard time coping with it. So it's very important for the mom, even though she's going through all these changes with her body and she could not have all the support and everything, just take a moment and sometimes just take a deep breath and relax, because this is a really stressful time for you, but it's also a very exciting time. And this is you and your baby. Just think about it like that. It's you and your baby all the way. Once you speak to your doctor, they're probably going to set up a time every a couple of months or weeks to meet up with them, just check up with the baby and you, see how everything's going, making sure all your vitamin levels are healthy and everything, and always go to the doctor when they tell you to go. But one thing I would highly recommend to do also is looking in the future. You don't want to you want to make a birth plan, so when it comes time to deliver, you know what you want and you know what could happen and what could go wrong, and you have a plan B, because you don't want to be just in the blue and not knowing if you want to have a home birth or having birth at the hospital or at a birthing center, because there's a whole different ways you could have birth. You could have it at the hospital and have all the doctors needed. If anything goes wrong, they could all help you like doctors do, and the drugs are there too. If you're in any pain or if you don't want any more pain, you could just tell them, like, look, I'm having a lot of pain and I'm having difficulty, and they'll help you through it all. Or you could go to a birthing center, which is kind of like having a second home for a birth, because it's a facility with nurses in it that help you giving birth and delivery, and it also feels more like a homey center. They have couches there for your loved ones to come in and just help you out during your through your pregnancy and delivery, and it just makes it feel more comfortable for mom to give birth there. Or if you don't want to do that at all, home birth is always an option, and it is what it sounds like. You're giving birth at home, and you're at home, you're comfortable, and there's different ways you could do it too. Just do your research. You want to make sure you do the birth plan that makes you feel comfortable. You don't want to do something that you're not comfortable with or you don't know what's going to happen. So that's why I say look forward and make a birth plan before it actually comes time for you to deliver. So once you have made your plan, you're going through the stages of pregnancy, and if you don't know, pregnancy lasts for 9 months. And after the baby is born, some moms can go through a stage where they get depressed because the baby is no longer inside of them. It's totally normal. Just go talk to your doctors. You're not the only woman and mom who has experienced this. There's other moms who go through it and they get out of this stage, and there's nothing wrong with that. So never be afraid to tell your doctor how you're feeling, because it's not just about the baby, it is also about you. You are important in the situation. But once the baby is out and growing, it's very important that you keep in mind that the baby's not going to be perfect. The baby's going to cry, the baby's going to have off days, just like a human being, because that's what he is. They're just a smaller version of us. They could get sad for no reason, or they're just trying to tell you something and they can't communicate very well because they're babies. So it's always a good thing to keep level mind when you're dealing with your child, because again, they are a child, so they can't help it sometimes. Another thing I'd like to address is something called shaping behavior, and there's a lot of different ways you could go through shaping their behavior. And to break that definition down for you, is you're shaping the way that your child is going to learn. So shaping behavior, it's the way that they learn. And there's a couple of ways you could do this. One way is called positive reinforcement, and this is a technique where you add a reward to a good behavior. So you're adding ice cream after they get an A on their test. The only problem with positive reinforcement is that the child doesn't really do the good behavior because they understand why it's a good behavior. They're doing it because they want the reward at the end of the day, and that's the only problem with that. The other way you could do it is negative reinforcement, and I know the word negative kind of throws it off and it makes it seem bad, and it makes positive reinforcement seem a better technique, but negative reinforcement is not bad. There's nothing wrong with it. It's only called negative reinforcement is because you're taking something away that the child doesn't like. Like, say your child gets an A on a test, you take away their chore of doing the dishes for the day, and they're more inclined to understand why the good behavior is a good behavior. And that's negative reinforcement. And you're going to teach and raise your child according to your own religion or background or your culture, and that's all up to you. And all the techniques that you choose to raise your child with, there's nothing wrong with them. You're doing it what makes you feel comfortable raising your kid, and that's all up to you. And I understand sometimes if you are a single mom or a single dad raising your child, it becomes really stressful, and your kid gets out of hand sometimes and you just don't know what to do, or you just don't know what to do because you're the only person in your family who has a kid. It's just becoming too stressful for you. Don't get overwhelmed and take that out on your child. Never do that. That's not a good way, because children look up to you. They're going to learn from your mistakes, and they're going to learn from you. They love you too, so they don't want you to take out that anger or frustration onto them. What you could do is go to other support groups where they have other families who are in the same situation as you, or they're a single parent, and you guys could exchange tips or exchange phone numbers anytime. And so when you're having a bad day with your kid, just call them up and just talk about it, and they'll help you through it. There's always another way to do some things. So always keep that in mind, and I hope this video helps you, and I wish you happy parenting. Bye bye.